Today is the first lesson on Chapter 12, graphing rational functions. When we use the word rational, we're talking about a fraction. And what we're going to do is we're going to deal with graphs that are going to have what's called an asymptote. An asymptote is where the function is undefined, and we find it by setting the denominator equal to 0 and solve. This top portion needs to be in your notes. When we had our example y equals 1 over x minus 4, we made a table, and on your graphs you'll need a table. You plot the points. Now, if you notice, we had an undefined spot at 4. In your graph, at 4, at x equals positive 4, you need to create this dotted line, which is the asymptote, and the name of it needs to be there. Now, if we would do it on our graphing calculator, we would still have the table, we would still have it, but mine does not put in the asymptote. So you would have to do that. Now, if you look at my second example, can you tell me where the asymptote is located? At a -2. If we set the denominator equal to 0, and we would solve, we know that our asymptote is going to be the vertical line at x equals a -2. Now, there should be some shortcut ways for us to find that. And there is. Here is the general form when we have these type of problems. We have some number over x minus h. This h will move our graph left or right and will be the vertical asymptotes. And if you notice, we have it x equals 8. This plus k on the end will move the curve up or down, and we'll have a horizontal asymptote as y equals k. You need to copy the stuff here on the left. The stuff on the right will do an example. Ryder, you got this written down?
I can't see it. So,
You want me to give you a printed copy?
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was thinking, but
Yes, ready? All right, so let's look at our little example here. Which one of the numbers will be involved with the vertical asymptote?
6.
6, because it's in the denominator. So in our case, we would set x minus 6 equals 0, so the vertical asymptote is x equals 6. Besides Ryan, what will be the horizontal asymptote? What number will be involved?
3.
Will be the 3 at the end, so we have y plus 3. That 5 just deals with the slope of our lines. We don't really have anything to worry about. As part of your homework, they're going to give you an equation, and they're going to ask you for the 2 different types of asymptotes. Notice, x equals for vertical, y equals for horizontal. Okay? So that you're going to deal with. Now, the next thing we're going to deal with are our types of graph. They're going to ask you to tell me, is it linear? Is it quadratic? So what I've done here is I've gotten what the 6 basic functions that we've talked about this year. We've had a linear, we've had a quadratic that made a u, we've had an absolute value that made a v, we've had a square root 1, that's what we did last chapter. We did exponential ones when we talked about growth and decay, and they always go through this point right here, which is 0, 1. And then we have our new ones, which are called rational equations. So what I want you to do on your paper is draw these 6. Do it better than I did. Hang on. And those are slightly better. Ryder, you did? I'm good. Ryder, that's the third page on your notes, isn't it? I want to show you what they're going to give you for homework on this last section, and then there's another one about the asymptotes I want to go over on the homework, and then we'll be done. Which one are you on? So like on this last one, we have a vertical asymptote at 1, and we have a horizontal asymptote at 3. And again, when you put those dotted lines in, you need to have their equations in there also when you do that. Now, one of the things they're going to ask you is with IXL. And with IXL, there is a section, where's my slide bar? Where they're going to ask you to identify, I've forgotten where it is, tell which type of function it is. It's just right up here at the beginning. Right here, I got a slide over around. You have to tell what type of function it is. And I thought it was just right here at the beginning. Something about classifying what type of systems we have. And obviously I cannot find it. Exponential, numbers. Well, it's not in 2 at all. Section 2 is all geometry. Well, looks like I should have planned there. All right. Again, it's where they ask you to tell which type of function you have. Yeah, obviously I'm not finding it.
Searching it.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called though. But asked to classify a system. Or classify,
You can look up the word
Yeah,
classify
you
and
can
just
search
search.
classify
Control
rational
F,
system.
and then it'll search the whole page.
yeah, but I thought I could just go right to it.
Your rising point and maybe we'll find it.
Yeah, probably. All right, where do I find that?
Hit Control F.
I'll go to that tools thing on top right. The X button.
Oh, go back, classify. All sorts of stuff, but not what I was looking for. See, that's the problem, I didn't remember the name of it.
Or is it just about rational graphs or?
How about if I type in linear or quadratic? Nope, there it is, identify. There it is. All right, so tell me, what type of graph is that?
That is exponential.
Did you look on your notes?
Yes, yes.
And that was exponential. All right, oh, this is linear.
Quadratic.
Quadratic.
Exponential.
Exponential. But they're gonna throw in absolute value ones. This one is,
Quadratic.
what do we do? How we doing? We got 7 right. What's this one?
Exponential. Quadratic.
Okay, you got the idea of what they're gonna ask you to do? If you look at the homework, they have a whole section that they're gonna deal with. Now, if we go back to this with the asymptotes, they're going to ask you, how is this equation different from the parent? This number in the bottom tells you how far left or right it will go from the parent. The number here will tell you how far up and down it will go with the parent.
So would we just put it 6 to the right?
All right, so let's deal with, say that I gave you this is the parent. And I want to know how this one is going to be different. So how would you do?
It's to the left, 2, and up 7.
So you'd say left 2, up 7. Now does everyone understand where that left came from? Because the formula said x minus h. So this x minus a -2, so that means it's going to go left 2. So that's another thing they're going to ask you to do on your homework. Questions? Turn the video off.